everything's still possible. We're not going to get relegated, but we could really still drop down. We got Chelsea to come. We got games that we tend to lose. So yeah.
But you see the thing about Amorim specifically, where like it pivoted to him, like this guy ain't it. This is 10 losses.
Well,
this is only 6 wins. When you started to see that type of chat, what are you saying?
That's expected. I'm scared. The only thing I will say I'm scared about is if it doesn't we can't. Another manager can't fail in this. It's so soon. I need it to work. I need his signings to work. And now, it's kind of unfair because we're looking at Dorgu and trying to understand if he's going to have a good window or not. But it's only one player. So, and Dorgu's just started. So almost it's kind of unfair. We're now saying, well, how good is his window going to be? Because he signed Dorgu and we don't know if he's meant for his system, but is he ready? And I think we're trying to we're doing all these sums and we're not getting the number that we're looking for, right? So we're just getting too crazy at the moment. But I understand why we are, because he's had 11 losses. 11 losses, 6 wins, 4 draws. That's a disgusting record. However, what we have to say is there's the context in there as well that needs to be used, but it's still unacceptable. And he has to still get some level of he has to be better. He's got to be better with the players that he has. That's one of the things he has to do. Yeah, so it's that.
Minna, what are you saying on what's going on with Ruben? Was yesterday the game that should turn the attention towards him, do you feel? Do you understand that outrage?
I'm in 2 ways about it. I think fans have a right to voice their opinions if they are not happy with what they've seen, because it's hard to get behind 6 out of 21 Premier League games. It's very difficult to get behind that. For some context, I think Wolves have won 6 in 9. So Wolves in their last 9 games have won the same number of games that United have won across 20-something Premier League games. I totally understand that. But what I don't understand is, for the best part of a season and a bit, fans were calling these players crap. And then in that same breath, they're shocked that Amorim can't get a tune out of them. It's where do we draw the line of the, criticism on the manager and then criticism on the players? And I'm looking at Ineos and I'm looking at the ownership. I'm looking at Ineos, I'm looking at the ownership. I'm looking at these footballing people that allegedly have been put in place, because January, you brought in Patrick Dogu again, another, I will say, developmental project. It seems like that's the path they're trying to go down with their transfer strategy, buying these not fully polished, not fully made players, hopefully developing them into something with high potential. But again, that is similar to, bringing in a manager like Ruben Amorim mid-season, in terms of it's no guarantee that it's going to be a success, because you've brought in Ruben Amorim, plays a back 5. He doesn't play a back 3. Let's stop saying back 3 because it's a back 5. Because of the quality of the players, they are unable to play in the way that Amorim would have played at Sporting. If you watch Sporting and you watch the wing-back systems in particular and how high up they played, Diogo Dalot can't do that. And, Patrick Dogu, maybe he can do that. Before he came, the Mazraoui at left wing back, whoever was at left wing back, couldn't do that. I totally understand where this kind of criticism comes from. And what I don't understand is people saying, I will give Amorim until, give him the summer transfer window. If the season starts off poor, sack him in Christmas. Because then what are you going to do now that you've brought a bunch of players for a specific system, and now you have to go back to the drawing board and bring in a new manager? It's literally like history repeating itself. Ruben Amorim, for me, I think it goes 2 ways. It goes a way where it gets so bad, I'm talking very bad, that he gets sacked. Or
what, in the summer?
But by the end of the season, I'm talking Europa League exit on Thursday, and the results, the last 6 games of the league is so dire that he either A, gets sacked, or B, he walks because he realizes not that the project is too big for him, but maybe he's been misled in terms of the financial situation for Manchester United. The fact that maybe a lot of these players he's going to have to make do with. And, he's very adamant that he does not want to change from this back 3, this back 5, etc., etc. And I respect him for that, because 2 seasons ago, guys, we were all sitting here saying Erik ten Hag, moved away from his principles to accommodate for these bummy players. And now the manager is not doing that, and instead he's trying to tweak it.
Marcel, are you telling us that everything's all right? What are you saying on this?
Yes, it's completely fine. I'm really happy with how things are going right now. Basically, what we're seeing, everyone, is that
No, you're not, Marcel.
Wait, are you serious?
Totally fine. You're not totally fine.
Let him finish his point.
Hold on, give him a minute because
No, but he wanted to know what
gonna
gaslighting
say.
was today. He wanted to know what
Look,
gaslighting was today.
hold on. What Marcel's going to say there, like you're going to respond to a super chat saying we're not a 15th place team squad. Yes, we are. We probably have the 20th.
No, James. No, James. No, sorry, James. Sorry, James. Sorry, very sorry, James. Extremely sorry, James. No, you don't know what I'm going to say. No.
All right, let's hear it.
Just no, James. I love you dearly, but just no. No,
okay, go for it.
That's not what I was going to say.
So what are you going to say?
I'm very happy with how things are because we're seeing which lambs need to be slaughtered. We're seeing it in live action, James, and everybody else, and the chat. We're seeing it. We're seeing the players that are not that are surplus to requirements. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want to see when you're building the process, when you're building something. This is what you want to see. You're putting players in there into the fire line, and who cannot survive in the system. Devs was talking about he expected something from the low. No, we expected him to be sold or to play left or to play right centre back. That's what we expected. We expected that type of player from years and years now. We're talking about mistakes as well, Devs. In the Lyon game, lazily lunges into a slide tackling challenge where you're never going to get the football, picks up a yellow card. Little things like this, they don't have the caliber to play at this level. We've seen it again and again. So I'm very happy for Ruben. I'm extremely happy for Ruben. He's playing these players and he's asking, can you deliver within the system? And time and time again, we're seeing, Maguire suits well, but he's number 5 or 6, I've been saying for the longest time. For the longest time, I've been asking for Harry and Mass to play. For the longest period of time, I've been saying the way that we should look at the Premier League is we need to just play these players. Play the youth players. The Premier League this season is done. Play the youth players. Let's see more Cheeto. Let's see more. That we need to cultivate a couple of these youth players for the next season because this season is done for us, is what I'm saying. In terms of Europa League, we have one shot. That's it. The Europa League. All the eggs should be in the Europa League basket. So Ruben kind of should have balanced it a little bit better in terms of the squad for this particular game. He's risked Xerxes, and now we lose him for key fixtures. But that's a big mistake. But I even think next season's a write-off season. If you're expecting one position 1, 2, 3, or 4,
it can't be a write-off. It can't. Well, no, maybe not 4, but no, we do have to be realistic. But we can't just write it off. There's no expectation on this man already.
But Fleck, how are we going to build anything? How are we going to build anything?
You can't describe this situation as perfect.
You're going to sack him next season, Fleck.
But you know what, Marcel, I actually completely agree with you. It's just impossible to predict how you're going to say something, which I applaud you for. It's always interesting and entertaining. But I actually agree with you entirely. That was kind of my point. I think you're seeing who's not up for it. The issue is there's a lot of players who are not up for it at United. There's just a lot of players who are not up for it at United. And we are seeing it because we're not compromising on principles, as Mina said, as compared to Ten Hag. Amorim is not switching up and saying, all right, let me see how to make Dalot work best. Let me see how to make Rasmus Højlund work best. And I'm going to change everything to fit all of these players. I'm not singling those two out, but there's a lot of them at the club right now. But the fact of the matter is, you go back through all these games, all these losses, the lack of wins, things like that. I think most of those games, you could say United would win it or could have won it if they had even a half decent front three.
Now, another thing that was said before about next season being a write-off, absolutely not. This manager, where we will give him the blight this season is he came in no preseason, not his players. Next season, that doesn't stand. It doesn't. You're not allowed to lose this many games next season. I'm not having it. I don't want to hear no one, or actually, you know what? Say that. I will disagree heavily. Like, you're not allowed to lose that. And he said it himself. He said, if I lose this many games, they have to get rid of me. It's standard.
Do you think, KG, then that we would start having the thing a bit like we did with Ten Hag, where it's like, yeah, but he won Europa League last season. That's a big trophy, Like, I'm not saying I don't want to win. I don't want to win a trophy or anything like that. Of course not. But if we were, I think we have to show that we as fans have changed, because if we just basically repeat the same thing, which is we win a trophy at the end of a really bad season, go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, this is totally different.
But it won't be, because we'll do.
No, it is totally different, because you have to add the context to this. Ten Hag was here for a long time and could never get his style of play to work. In regardless of the players that he brought in, how much he spent. He was never going to get a style. How many players was Ten Hag away from playing his type of football? We can. That's that answer. We can't even answer that question. I don't even think 4 or 5 signings and we still been able to play successful Ten Hag ball because it just wasn't coming. Now with this manager, if he wins the Europa and he's just brought in Dorgu, well, you can't say it's the same because he hasn't had the time, he hasn't had the signings, he hasn't had close to what Ten Hag's had. It's totally different.
Yeah, I think I agree with KG because also I think I get that the fans would just be the fans. Like you can't predict what they're going to do because you can't do it on a week by week basis, let alone season by season. But you know, like we say, really, Amorim's been backed by 22 million quid. And Ten Hag was like $250 million. Do you know what I mean? Like we need to see this manager get back. But I also see. I'm not saying I want that same system to be given to Amorim, but we do have we're making smarter business. Maybe you don't like some of the players, whatever, but the business is smarter than what we're used to. I might be clutching at straws, but a lot of the players have been bought on deals that aren't going to cripple us in a few years' time, whereas the previous ownership couldn't say that, or the previous directorship. So hopefully you give him some time with that, or you give him a season or to like work with that and figure that out, then fine. Still haven't got a data department. I don't know if anyone's got an update on that, but hopefully we will. So there's loads of things to take. But also, I think we're in a bit of a different era also where every single thing gets talked about. And Amorim, even when he came in, has said he wants to just focus on the training pitch. He wants to do this. He's still the most interviewed manager by statistics since he's came in. Like he's not being given the time or the kind of breathing space in order to perform.
Really says, love Marcel being positive on his team even now. And Jay says Marcel is ironically gaslighting.
You just said the G word. Someone just said the G word.
What is that? What is that? It's annoying me.
Gaslight.
Yeah, gaslighting. Well, Marcel, what you've been having? Actually, what's been going on, Marcel? Because you've been on a little bit of a thing to find out what this means, innit? What's going on? People accusing you of gaslighting, and this is what's happening from Jay.
And I don't know what that is. Gas is like it's like plasma, it's like water, it's like a solid, and then lighting is a lighter. So what is people talking about gaslighting? Minna was explaining to me that a gas light is a lighter. Yeah, I know what one of those are. But what am I doing? Who am I gaslighting? I'm talking from the diaphragm. Nowhere else. Not a lighter. I'm not talking from a lighter. I'm talking from the diaphragm. That's where I talk from. What are they telling me I'm gaslighting? What am I putting a light to? What am I setting a light? I don't get it, guys.
That's not what it means, bro. Oh, Minna's gone. Look what you done.
It comes from a movie, It comes from a movie a long time ago.
James, I don't watch movies. I haven't watched this.
No, it's from like 1944. It's from a movie called Gaslight. That's where the name, the word actually comes from. It's from a movie, and it got popularized. And it's about manipulating people. It's called Gaslight, and it's about someone manipulating another person psychologically, to.
There's someone doing this with a lighter for like an hour and a half.
Isn't the person? So I was saying, James, isn't the person that's calling someone a gaslighter actually gaslighting themselves? They're actually manipulating by saying that someone's a manipulator.
If it's not true when they're saying it, then yeah, it can be.
Yeah, sure.
It can be.
I mean, the accusation gets thrown around a lot. It's not always.
I think that's what Connor says there. I feel like gaslight is a very misused term from psychology, and I feel like into the football space, we are using that word freely. We're using the word because I have seen that loads. I'm on Marcel's side with that in terms of you're gaslighting now. No, I'm not gaslighting. I'm just saying my opinion because this is what I said versus what I didn't say.